Good team win against a physical team. We knew it would be a physical, tough game with the way they play, especially when Savon Goodman comes on the floor, just battles, plays extremely hard. But I thought our guys did a great job sticking together from start to finish, especially when you lose a guy like Tyrone Wallace. Team that you don't want to play as a team with this type of physical presence, a team hungry for a victory. But we knew it would be tough. A lot of credit to Sam Singer for doing a great job facilitating the offense, great job rebounding the basketball, and an exceptional job, in my opinion, of guarding Trey Holder, which is not an easy thing to do. Obviously, a lot of credit goes to his teammates for helping him, but I thought he did a great job really battling him.
Questions?
Cuonzo, you had a 14-point lead, and all of a sudden it was a tie ball game. What do you think happened in that stretch, and what do you think about the way your team sort of regrouped after you gave away the whole lead?
Well, one, they made plays, and I thought part of it, when you have key guys getting foul trouble, I think when King went out, and again, I'm not 100% sure, but I know when King went out, we lost a presence, around the rim. And then they made plays. I think Savon got off to a good start, really. The guards penetrating, dumping the ball off to me, made some plays. I thought Ivan broke down a couple times against Savon Goodman, but that's part of it. But our guys showed a tremendous amount of resiliency to fight and continue to compete and battle. I know Sam was exhausted in 35 minutes, but we needed him on the floor. He stepped up big. Jabari made a big shot. I thought Ivan did a great job around the rim. But I don't know if it's so much as mental breakdowns in the last 3 games that we had. I just think it was a case that they made some plays, because I don't see anything outside of the last 3 in the corner that Blake made was a lot of breakdown. I didn't see that part, but they made some plays.
Talking about Tyrone, whenever another team goes on a run, he's there kind of calms things down. How much was he missed in that run?
Well, he's missed because that's something you're not used to. You know how it is when you have key guys, and in this case our leader. You don't practice and say, okay, if this guy's out, this is what we'll do. Well, that's the first time it happened. All of a sudden, Sam's a starter, and he has to go out there and play against one of the better guards in our league that scores the ball. I have to do my job in guarding him, and also try to run this team. And I don't have a grace period when I'm struggling or getting fouled, so I can go grab a seat. Well, Tyrone's no longer here, so you have to step up and accept that challenge. And he did a great job, but. Jalen's probably the guy that can make those one-on-one plays like that. But he was inconsistent because he got in some foul trouble here. This happened, that happened. But he's the guy you can kind of flow through and make a play. He can make plays like that. I mean, he's natural at doing it.
With Tyrone, how important is it for the freshman round to continue to step up like this?
Well, it's very important, but it was a combination of things. I mean, because they have to be there. They don't have to be superheroes. I mean, just be good basketball players, nothing spectacular. But the thing about it is, Ivan had a presence in the post. We went to him, and even Cam and King got some production around the rim. But you have to go inside, outside. And if Ivan's posting like that, making moves, then we can flow. We can get to the free throw line. Now we're not shooting 25, 33 pointers unless they're good ones. But I thought with his presence around the rim and us dual penetrating, making plays, now you can get balls around the rim and make plays.
Cuonzo, did you go to the zone to try to protect us from foul trouble, or just cut off your penetration?
Well, really, we've been working on it for a long time. We struggled early this season against the zone, so we spent a lot of time working on it, more than we normally would, just in case we would use it. But we just hadn't spent a lot of time in the game using it, because I think our man defense is sound. But just in this case, it's more Brandon Chaka when he was on the floor, but also try something different when they had a couple shooters off the floor to force those guys to make plays. But and again, King's around. It wasn't so much Ivan and Jalen. It was more King. If King and Cam were in foul trouble, go to a zone, or maybe Brandon Chaka. But it was effective, so we kind of stuck with it.
Is it frustrating for you as a coach to have a game called as tightly as this game was called?
It is. It is. It just because it's really hard to get into a flow. I mean, and I'm not necessarily saying you got key guys getting in foul trouble. Just some of those calls, and it's frustrating because you really can't argue the call. And I guess it's a foul because they make the call, but it's extremely hard. But I think it's very hard for an official to officiate a game, because you can call a foul in the post every time down if you wanted to. If you really call the game like it should be called, you can call a foul in the post every possession down the floor.
Coach, when you lose a player like Tyrone, your first unit usually is able to make up for it with a step up. It's the second unit where you begin to really see the differences. First of all, who's your floor leader on the second unit?
Well, outside of me, I just think Sam's our point guard, and Brandon Chaka, those guys, because we create a culture and an environment for point guards to step up and you be leaders, and that's what your job is. Now, in most cases, you have guys that are veterans, they're older guys in your program, but we don't necessarily have one guy. I think they do it as a team. Because I think when you talk leadership, it's easy to appoint a guy to being the leader. But I think that's something that's in you. You have to have that. And I've never been a guy that says, okay, you're a leader because you're a senior, you're a captain. That has to be in you, and I think it resonates throughout the locker room. Guys recognize who the leaders are, but I don't know if we have a guy that steps up and just direct traffic like that. But I thought Sam did a good job trying to lead when he's on the floor. And Brandon Chalker, he likes that. He likes that atmosphere. He's not afraid of that as well. So I would say those two guys, but you know, Ivan Rabb talks. Jalen probably talks more than anybody in practice. I mean, it's just one of those deals. You have a lot of guys. Domingo, he's an exceptional guy when it comes to leading and talking. So you have a lot of guys, but not necessarily one guy that stands out.
Cuonzo, there was a stretch in the first half where I think you scored 5 baskets, and 4 were inside, where Sam penetrated, dumped the ball off for a guy to make a layup or something like that. Is that about as well as your half-court offense has functioned in a while?
Yes, and I think so. And percentages says I think that's probably the best we've shot all season. Because you have to put pressure on the D. When you have big guys that can make layups, and obviously Cam and King continue to improve their ability to post in a low post and make one-on-one moves, but they can make layups when you dump the ball off to them. And obviously Ivan can score the ball and do a variety of things, but you have to keep those guys engaged. And all of a sudden, late in the game, they're ready, and the opposing team understands that this guy's a threat. But when you go a whole game, you don't utilize your bigs at the level, then it becomes tough. Now you want those guys to make a play with 2 minutes left in the game. Well, it's hard. And then they got to step up and make a free throw. They hadn't touched the ball the whole night. So, yeah, I thought our guards did a great job really putting pressure on the defense and going downhill and making plays.
Sam said they did some stuff differently in the second half defensively to take away some of that penetration. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, one of those adjustments they made, they put the big fellow on Ivan Jacobson in. So now it kind of slowed him up. When he wasn't defending Ivan can post up and go over the top of the smaller guy. And they put the big fellow on Ivan. So now we just got to make the adjustment with Cameron King to be able to go down and score against a smaller guard. I mean, well, I shouldn't say a guard, but a wing or forward that they have. Or they probably getting up 4 inches or 5 inches to those guys. And those guys, we got to go to those guys and force them to make plays.
Not sure how much you've watched Arizona on tape yet, but what's your impressions of them and how big is Saturday's challenge?
Well, I mean, it's obviously they're the team to beat since they won the league last year. And I think when you have that level of experience, when you have Tarzusi, a 4-year guy, you have 2 transfers that are 5th-year guys, and Anderson and Mark Tolleson. You have York, it's a 4th-year guy. They have a starting point guard, Allen, who's a 4th-year guy, even though he's a junior. So when you have that level of experience, that means you battle tested at some level. So I think for us, again, it's playing as hard as we can play, executing our game plan. I haven't seen a lot of film. I've seen them, watched them from afar, and they're obviously a really good team, and Sean does a great job, but I haven't broke them down and said, okay, here's the game plan. But I know they're talented.
How fired up will your guys be for that game?
Oh, they'll be ready to rumble. I mean, great atmosphere, ESPN game, if I'm not mistaken. So our guys will be ready to go. Our fans will be ready to go. I think it's 50 tickets left. We need to buy those up quick so nobody in red can get those.
Does it concern you to see teams getting so many more shots than you guys? Obviously, Arizona State had.
Not really, because you look at the percentage, 37% now. The 12 rebounds, you got to look at how many offensive rebounds were legitimate rebounds, but the 12 rebounds, but 44 shots. But if you execute 54%, you really execute. You look at the percentages, 37% from the field, 27-3. So we obviously did our job. Not really. 75 points is 75 points. We just got to do a better job of just continue to be sound and minimize all the breakdowns and make our free throws and continue to execute.
On the starting lineup, is this the starting lineup that maybe we should see going forward, Tyron out, or is this more of a matchup towards Arizona State, or were you in the process of figuring out what your starting lineup is going to be with them out?
This will be the lineup next I guess Saturday, unless somebody gets injured in practice. Yes.
Why did you try to decide to make that switch?
Well, I just think with King and Cam, those 2 guys have a presence, and you have to have big bodies. And I don't know, maybe there's one team, Oregon. I'm trying to think another team in the league where you can't play traditional big guys as much because of how Oregon plays. So now you might have to play some zone against those guys. But other than that, you have big guys. I mean, Arizona State, Arizona, they have big guys. Colorado, Utah, they have big guys. So you have to get those guys on the floor because they have a presence, and it's just tough. I even have to bang big physical guys the whole night. It makes it hard on him.
Cuonzo, you okay with 14 turnovers, or is that still?
No. Those turnovers make it hard for me to sleep. I'm not kidding you. Those turnovers. We got to continue. Now, again, I'll go back and watch film, but I didn't think we had bad turnovers tonight. Again, I'll watch film. There's probably 4 of them that were bad, but nothing that make my hair grow, though, so it wasn't too bad.
As far as the defense is concerned, King and pleased you were with their presence and stuff really protect your paint?
Oh, did a great job. I mean, King did a tremendous job. He got a key block down the stretch. But again, a guy that can block shots. He's a big body guy. He moves his feet well. And that's not easy for guys like King and Cam to guard those ball screens constantly coming down here when you're moving your feet, those angles. That's a tough thing to do for a traditional big guy, 7 feet tall. And I thought both of them did a good job. Even Ivan, in most cases, he's guarding. You know, their fours are really perimeter guys, can slash off the dribble. It's not easy, but they accepted the challenge.
Do you think with this group, the talent that's put in place, do you think sometimes maybe the uncertainty of next year, do you think there's a sense of urgency to win?
Well, I think it's a sense of urgency to win because you want to win. You're hungry to win. You want to be successful. You feel like you let some games slip. But I don't think the guys in the locker room say, okay, these guys might go in the draft, so let's do it. I don't think they think like that at all. I really don't. Because, and obviously Tyrone's a senior, but in Jalen and Ivan's case, they don't really talk like that. They really don't. I mean, and they understand that part of be what it is. But they don't get consumed with that type talk. All they want to do is get better and try to work hard. But I've never really been around those guys where they talk like that. They don't want to hear it. So it's just really basketball. Continue to get better more than anything.
And how much of that is, you stressing, you've always been a day-by-day guy. How much of that, you stressing that, how is that rubbed off on him? And now you're thinking about
Well, it has to. I mean, because we don't talk about it. And I just think that's life. And during the season, we don't talk about those things anyway. But like I told those guys, that part will present itself when it presents itself. So there's nothing you can do about it. You can't make a phone call and make some adjustments. I mean, it is what it is. And when that time comes, they'll make the right decision and do what's best for them and their families.
How do you want Brandon Chalker to play in the game back in that same? Do you want to be more kind of facilitator, kind of like running the offense? Or, I mean, I guess the question is, like, he took 2 threes.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with him taking those open threes and they present, or how do you
Oh, yeah, he can shoot every time he's open. That's one of the better shooters on the team. Anytime, and again, they hadn't seen Brandon a lot, so they probably left him open like this guy can't shoot. But that's one of the better shooters on this team. Anytime he's open, that ball is flying. Oh, just play aggressive. And he's one of the guys that he might have been a little fatigued because he hadn't played in games or the adrenaline, but he was ready to go. He wanted all 40 minutes if he can get them. That's one thing about Brandon Chalker. If you come in here tonight, Brandon Chalker's in the gym all the time. He wants the stage and the light, so he's not fazed by that at all. Not at all.